gluten-free crab fettuccine. I've had some crabs saved in the freezer, all picked and everything, specifically for this, and I've just kept it for a long time and I haven't quite gotten up to doing it. And now I have to do it in a gluten-free manner, so this is going to be fun. So we are going to make gluten-free pasta. So what we have here is 140 grams, I weighed it, of gluten-free flour. This can be found as 1-to-1 or cup-to-cup, is usually what it's called. It's a mix of different flours that are not wheat, rye, or barley, and some starches, and like Xanthan Gum is in this one. This one happens to be from Bob's Red Mill, and they sell it in bulk at the co-op. So we bought that. So 140 grams turns out to be just about a cup. So I'm gonna put that in there. And I have 2.5 tablespoons of tapioca starch to kind of help pull this together. And then I have 1 egg and 1 egg yolk. I'm gonna smoke these together. I think before I add the egg, I'm gonna mix that stuff. So I have a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then, yeah, let me give this a quick little, just to mix the stuff. Out we go. And then, ooh, nice flour. Everywhere. I can make a great mess with flour. It's in my genes. And in with the egg, and I'm also going to add to this 1/2 tablespoon of olive oil.
Oh, Popeye! My favorite thing I got from my mom's.
Okay, now we're going to smoke this together.
Quiet.
It's pretty quiet. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, for a change.
And then I think, since this thing is so big and I'm just making a little bit of pasta, I need to pull it down.
And you can do it by hand too, right? We just go.
You can do this by hand, yes. You're just mixing, mixing, mixing. Until it comes together. In order to get it to come together, we will be adding some water.
Pearls in there.
So I'm going to get a little bit of water. Slowly add it. See, I thought that was going to happen. I'm using the pastry blade on this thing, and it doesn't, it's short, and it doesn't reach to the outside of this. So, it's not, everything just bunches up on the outside and doesn't get mixed. And I'm really thinking I need the other blade, but let's see if I can get this to...
It's our first time with the dough blade on this particular machine.
It's supposed to work.
Yeah,
it's a dough
that's why they give it to you.
It's dough.
Oh, something's done. Oh, you got to put the little thing in.
This
thing. So you don't cut your hand off.
better, but it's still missing a lot
Yeah,
of
it's
it.
grabbing it. Yeah, that's pretty good now. Oh, there you go. Now you're getting ball.
Stop this
No, they've
one
tested
more
it.
time. So I'm seeing that it's not getting all this flour around here, but it's really, it looks like a good dough now. So I think we're very close to coming together. Done.
Yeah.
All right. So we are now going to take our dough and turn it out onto a floured surface. And this is the fun part about pasta, is you get to make a giant mess.
What's your favorite
Flour
thing about
everywhere.
anything you make?
And,
You don't do it in black pants, right?
so this, we bought some sorghum flour, which is also gluten-free, and that's what I'm using for the dusting. And there's my ball of dough. It feels a little bit wet, but I'm not too concerned about that. We'll work it a little bit here and see if we can get it to behave properly. Yeah, it's definitely pasta, and we're definitely going to need more flour.
Got more.
So I am going to bust this thing in half, and I'm going to put this half in some saran wrap. Now here's a little tip for you all. With your saran wrap, if you have it in a drawer like this, facing the proper way, you can easily get some out without taking the whole box out.
We discovered that at a VRBO that we stayed at once, and on a trip that they did that.
Okay, so I'm gonna work this pasta down into a bit of a rectangle. This is gonna work. Okay, and then I am going to go to my pasta maker. And I have this set on the biggest setting to start with. And we're gonna go in, roll this baby.
This is easier to do when you have help.
And then we're gonna, yeah, I'll just do one at a time, I think. I'm gonna go to the next setting.
Now, is it a high number or a low number?
It's a low number. It starts at 0. This is 1. And as you go along here, you can add more flour. Dust this thing with a little bit more flour to keep it moving through the machine without sticking. I'm gonna fold this. Okay, so this is actually pretty thin right now. I'm not hating it for my noodles were like this, it'd be fine.
Because your goal is fettuccine.
Fettuccine, yeah, you know, that can have a little bite to it. So, let's come through again. It's kind of Could use a little more flour.
Those cooking shows, they make it look so easy. The chefs that just whip it out, those big long pieces.
Mm-hmm. And this, you know, being gluten-free flour, we expect it to behave a little differently. So we may not get the kind of perfection we're used to. But it's supposed to work, so, you know, I'm going with that. It's supposed to work. Let's make it work. It's getting a little crumbly.
Yeah.
So I definitely don't think I can go any thinner than this. And I'm just going to go through again at this thickness. See if I can get it to be a little more cohesive. Nope. Gluten is the thing that holds your dough together, so.
That's good.
Okay, so let's go back down to 0 for this other hunk. I'm gonna fold it. Let's see if this starting out by folding it helps. Okay, moved it up to the 1 mark. And let's see if we can get it 1 more. Do we have 1 more? Let's get a little more flour on it so it doesn't stick to the rollers. Okay, now we are going to turn this flat sheet into fettuccine. And this can get tricky. Let's see how it goes.
Ew, those need something under here. Oop.
Yeah, it's falling off.
Go ahead. Oh yeah, that looks good.
I think we had to pull it though. Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be a messy job.
Okay, so that's fine. Look, it is kind of loose. So the real thing, when this is coming out of the machine, you can't just let it clump. You have to pull it. And
Flour it up really good.
that may take a couple of us to do it. So let's do the same with this. Let's give it a little more flour. And then in we go.
Just keeping it from falling onto the floor.
Yeah, but pull,
Oh, I'm going to hold it here.
pull it out. There you go.
Pick up those pieces later.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
All over the floor. That looks
There
good.
we go. That's pretty good. So that's what we're after here. All right, so let's take a little break and regroup.
We were supposed to have an extra couple hands here, but
Yep.
they canceled. Okay.
All right, so that is our gluten-free pasta. It needs something to help it hold together a little better, so it might need more xanthan gum, and maybe another egg yolk would help. You know, this was successful, but I think it could be better. It just didn't hold together like pasta with gluten does, because that's what gluten does, is it helps things hold together.
It's the glue.
So there are a few strategies to replace gluten, and you know we've got noodles. It's going to be great. So there you have the pasta thing. All right, so let's make our sauce. We are going to make a cream cheese pesto Alfredo sort of thing. I have a wonk of butter that I'm melting on here. I'm going to add
A wonk being like a tablespoon?
yeah, it's about a tablespoon. I have a couple of cloves of garlic all chopped up. Get that to start cooking a little bit. And then we're going to add some cream cheese and some milk. And waiting.
I guess should we come back and let's
Yeah,
do something?
let's wait till this butter heats up. So now this is cooking away a little bit here, and I'm gonna roll in my cream cheese. I've taken a package of cream cheese and cut it up into little cubes to help with the melting, and it's gonna take a while for that to melt. And the first thing I'm gonna do is add about a cup of milk, and you know, we're going for the kind of the low-fat version of Alfredo sauce. This could be heavy cream if you wanted. And since I'm using goat milk because I really like it, and that's what we have. And
That's why the clump's in there.
since I had to open a new bottle, I was able to get the cream off the top of the goat milk. So that kind of is going to help to make this a little bit richer. And now we're going to let this heat back up, and we don't want this to boil really. We just want this to simmer until the cream cheese melts, and that'll take a little bit. And then we're going to add our pesto, and we'll thicken it at the end with Parmesan. So I've got it just simmering along in here, and you can see that the cream cheese is melting in. This is a place where you really want to be patient and just let it just simmer lightly, and keep stirring and let the cream cheese melt, and it'll all melt and it'll be totally delicious. But you don't want to like crank the heat up, and you'll burn your milk if you do that. So this is just patience.
You want to talk about the pesto that you're using?
This pesto was made in September of 2021 and kept in the freezer. And it has in it basil and mac nuts.
We have a video about how we
do.
make our pesto.
We probably made the video when we made this pesto.
It's very possible.
So yeah, I'm gonna use this whole thing of pesto. So that will add more garlic as well as some Parmesan to this sauce. The cream cheese is kind of thickening it by itself. And then when we get to the end, if it needs more thickener,
Oh yeah, look at that.
we'll add more Parmesan. But yeah, this is it's doing what it's supposed
That
to.
looks
It's
really
beautiful.
nice and thick already.
And I haven't salted this a lot. I think we can put finishing salt on the plate rather than making the sauce salty. But we'll just we'll keep melting the cream cheese for a while. So our sauce is mostly smooth here. It still is going to smooth out a little more, but I'm going to go in with the pesto. And
Such a nice bright green color of that.
yeah, this is really going to give it a lot of flavor in addition to the sweetness of the cream cheese. I'm really looking forward to this. It's going to be delicious.
Yeah, we haven't had an Alfredo in a really long time.
It's not technically on our diet.
No.
You know, you gotta live. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, that pesto's really good.
Yeah, this is gonna be delicious. All right, so I'm gonna let this all just sit here and simmer a little bit and marry all this together. We're going to add this to our pasta after it's cooked.
What about crab?
And we're gonna add the crab into this before while we're cooking the pasta, we'll put the crab into here so it warms up because it's room temp maybe now.
Yeah, it's already cooked too. We don't need to cook it.
But yeah, and so the pasta cooks for 2 minutes, so that should be enough to warm up the crab, get everything together, and then we're just gonna marry everything into one pot and dish it up.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna throw the pasta in. So
Oh, okay.
before I do that, I'm gonna put the crab in here because I'm gonna be busy stirring that pasta. So I don't wanna have to.
And it totally seems like it's thick enough without adding any more parm to that.
It's really pretty thick, and there's a lot of parm in the pesto. Some people freeze their pesto without the Parmesan and then add it later. I haven't seen the need for that yet, so I don't. But here we go, in with the pasta. And I'm going to, I'm just trying to keep it from clumping on the way in, and then
Stir
immediately stir.
gently.
And I'm kind of expecting this to fall apart a little while it's cooking.
Do you want to put your timer on? It really just has to barely cook.
Yeah. Yeah, fresh pasta. There's really nothing like it.
No.
It's a wonderful thing. It doesn't have to cook for very long. I would like to see it boil a little here.
It's hot when you put it in.
Yeah.
Just fine. How's this looking over here?
It's just sitting there being green.
That isn't easy.
It's Kermit sauce. It's really delicious, by the way.
So I think we'll come back when it's
Yeah. Okay. There goes our timer. Hang on. Take this off.
turn this off.
And put it in the colander. Good thing I don't wear glasses anymore. And then, dewaterize it. See, this looks like just 2 servings of pasta.
Well, you did the smaller batch on
I did.
purpose.
I cut the.
We don't need extras.
Cut the recipe in half. And into this. Yeah, this, without adding any extra Parmesan, this is thick. So it's a beautiful thing. And we'll just go in here.
Yeah, that does look like plenty. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be plenty. And we're gonna have a big bowl of deliciousness. Look at that.
Yeah.
That looks
Camera's
really
not
good.
picking up as good as my eyes.
I'm just gonna go.
Oh gosh.
Well, something will
Could have
work.
gone on your omelet.
Oh, it could have.
Yeah.
All right. So now we are going to serve this, and I believe.
Let's come back after we get it in the bowl.
Yeah, let's do that. All right, so I'm going to add a little chili oil to mine because I like a little spiciness. And then let's see what we got here.
Pretty decadent, huh?
Okay, that's really good. I got a bite of the crab and the noodle. Yes, yes, indeed. That's really, really good. So there you have it. Gluten-free fettuccine, crab fettuccine. Thanks for watching Two Cooks in the Kitchen, and we'll see you next time. Oh, lovely.
Go ahead.
We're pairing this with a lovely Rombauer Chardonnay because it just goes.